Jason's in Sutton. Hello, Jason.
Hi, James. Thanks for taking the call.
It's not as bad as all that, is it, Jason?
Oh, it's actually worse, my friend. It's actually worse. You've got a full house now. I'm the third of the three blokes in a pub on the YouTube video, with Kieran the van driver and Graham the world traveller. I'm the international trade guy. I've lived and worked in over a dozen countries inside and outside the EU. I've negotiated billions of dollars of trade deals back and forth.
Yeah,
the Hong Kong government flew me out to represent them as an expert witness.
Yeah, but you're no Nadine Dorries, mate, are you? Let's get our cards on the table from the start. Flown out by the Hong Kong government. Now, you could have read something in a Spectator blog last night, and I'd know more than you do about international trade.
Yeah, absolutely right. So let's start at the beginning. You've got Google open, I hope. Just Google Article 50 of the Lisbon Treaty and have a look at Article 50, Paragraph 3.
You're very masterful. You're very masterful, Jason.
Don't do as you're told, James.
I am. I'm doing it now. What do I need to type? This is live, actually. This is quite fun because anybody can do this. Jason is an expert, and the Three Blokes in a Pub podcast we spoke to Colin yesterday is brilliant. But this is great because what time is it? 11:39. We've got time to do this. I don't think we've done this before. Right, so I am Grasshopper, and you are Sensei.
Okay, all right, let's give it a go. Article 50, Lisbon Treaty. It should pop up right at the top there. LisbonTreaty.org, and it'll come up with Article 50. Paragraph 3 specifically starts, the treaties shall cease to apply...
Hang on. No. We've got to do this right.
Oh, sorry.
I'll read it out, because otherwise people will think... Just before we carry on with this, have you had your cheque off George Soros yet? Because I don't know where mine's gone. Jason.
I get told that all the time. If it's not George Soros paying me, it's the EU paying me.
Yeah, I know.
And none of the bank transfers are working.
I keep checking my post office account, and Soros hasn't. He's done nothing. The silly old sausage. It's just outrageous. So, all right. So I am now looking at the Lisbon Treaty.
Article 50.
Article 50, paragraph 3. The treaties shall cease to apply to the state in question from the date of entry into force of the withdrawal agreement, or failing that, 2 years after the notification referred to in paragraph 2, unless the European Council, in agreement with the member state concerned, unanimously decides to extend this period.
Now, which part of that then says that we're going to get any kind of deal? Which part of that says we can stay in the European Aviation Safety Agency? Which part says we can keep the European arrest warrant and the Schengen Information System and the European Criminal Records Information System? Which part says we can stay within the European Medicines Agency? Which part says that we can negotiate a deal to stay in the single market or the customs union? None of it. We leave. There is no deal to be done. There never was. What we have at 11:01 p.m. on the 29th of March next year is we leave. Out means out. Remember? That's it.
I'm feeling a bit discombobulated. It's almost as if it's usually the other way round. I'm supposed to be schooling callers. Callers aren't supposed to be schooling me. And you're also doing those wonderful rhetorical flourishes. It's almost as if you've done them before. But I mean, clearly you're right, and we can have another philosophical conversation about why people could still deny it. I mean, it's there in black and white. The treaties shall cease to apply.
All of them.
Every single one of them.
Now, once this stops, what we can then do is we can begin negotiating our way back into all of these things. But the EU are legally bound. I mean, that's everyone's saying the EU are playing hardball, they're tough negotiators and all that. They're treating this as a legal, technical process, which is exactly what it is.
They have done from the start.
Yep, and the UK have been playing silly political games thinking it's a negotiation, and it isn't. We're given 2 years under Article 50 to get our house in order and be ready to leave the European Union. Sort ourselves out with the WTO, sort out our schedule. And you know the schedule of tariffs that you were just talking about?
Yes.
We trade over 4,500 different product nomenclature, or product groups, if you like.
How many?
Over 4,500.
Right.
One of those product groups is steel plates. Now, there are 3,200 different grades and types of steel plates, each of which...
So one of the 4,500 is 3,200 variations?
Correct. Now, some of those variations we manufacture in the UK. So what we would do is we'd have a very high tariff on those to protect what we make in the UK.
Yes.
Some of it we don't make, so we'd have a very, very low tariff on it. And until you know what our manufacturing capability is in the UK, and you've been through each of those 4,500 different product groups, product nomenclature, you've then got to send in your proposed tariff rate to the World Trade Organization, where 164 countries around the world will all sit down and look at it. This is why it took Russia 18 years to get theirs approved. Because if there's something in there that somebody wants to sell to us, but we've got a high tariff on it, they can block the whole thing. Now, what the proposal is, the UK and the EU have gone to the WTO, and the UK has said, look, we just want to copy what the EU already had, what we had before.
Yes.
Which protects things like Spanish oranges and citrus fruit. It protects olive oil in the olive groves in Italy. We cannot use somebody else's common external tariff regime because it makes absolutely zero sense for the UK.
I understand this. What's your... I mean, I don't know how much thought you've given it. I presume you've given it quite a lot. You bring your expertise to the table, and your experience actually doing these trade deals. You were flown out to Hong Kong by the British government to do the post-accession. By the Hong Kong government.
Flew me out to represent them in an international arbitration case.
Okay. And so you do this. Your frustration clearly has mounted as the months have passed. What answer have you come up with for this widespread, almost nationwide, willful desire to ignore what you know to be true? Because I'm still struggling, to be honest with you.
So why are people pushing it forward? Incompetence in our government, in Westminster.
Just ignorance. They just don't know as much as you know.
But they should.
But you just did it in 30 seconds live on the radio. You just literally took me to the line of the treaty that needs to be...
Yeah, but if you look at Liam Fox, he's our Secretary of State for International Trade. He's spent 2 years, been around the world twice. If you look on their website, the Department for International Trade, look at trade deals that are being negotiated or consulted on.
Yes.
He's got 4. One with TPP, with Trans-Pacific Partnership countries, and they've specifically already said, look, we don't want to deal with the UK. Come back in a few years because we're focused on the TPP with the EU at the moment. The next one is the United States of America, who are currently working on a tariff-free trade deal with the European Union. And Obama said we'd be back at the queue. Trump said we'd be at the front, and now we're at the back. He changes his tune every day. And the other 2 countries are Australia and New Zealand, both of whom have said that they don't think the UK leaving the European Union will affect their growing levels of trade with the European Union, not with the UK. 4. That's the list of all of the countries around the world that Liam Fox is now consulting on. And
are they the WTO schedule? They've objected to that as well, have they?
They were 2 of the countries.
2 of the 4. Yeah.
See, what happens is if we have...
No, this is wrong. No, stop talking, because this is all wrong. I'm the one now that's banging his head against the brick wall, and you're the one that's...
Here's the tough bit, because a lot of people worry about we can have all this stuff coming into the UK, and don't worry about the queues, everything will come in free, and we'll just have 0 tariffs on everything we import. That's fine, that's one thing. But we need to focus on what we build in this country and the goods that we currently export all around the world. Yeah, half it goes to the EU, the other half is to non-EU countries.
Yeah.
All of the countries around the world will have to treat the UK as what's called a third country under WTO terms.
Yes.
But this fallback position, what that means is prices of things we make in this country that we sell abroad will be increased by anything from 5 to 40% plus. Now, this happens on March 30th next year until we've negotiated new trade deals, and it continues. We make £417 million worth of goods and products that we export every single day. That's a lot of British jobs making those goods. That customer in Mexico or Brazil or Japan or Canada or States around the world, why will they decide to buy that same product from the UK after March next year when it's 30% more expensive?
Because they will believe in Britain.
Oh, yeah, right, okay. Fair enough. They'll be delighted.
Also, our passports will be blue.
Oh, and our ration books as well. The ration book's going to be blue as well.
Do you want to come in for a chat one day? I mean, should we get you... Because it's not a great phone line. I'd like to really run over all of this again in person so that we've got quality audio that we can deliver to all of the people that need to get it. Can we arrange that, Jason, or would that embarrass you?
I'd be delighted.
Cool.
No, I'm delighted.
Kieran will get jealous, you know that, don't you? But we'll deal with that. And then...
You could have all 3 blokes if you like.
I could, but I may, but I want to get you in first because this is urgent. I mean, genuinely urgent. And... when you look at Jacob Rees-Mogg, let's have a look at him today, and because he's the one that seems to be most publicly insisting that he understands all of this stuff better than you do, that you're wrong, and we will be fine, and prices will come down, and joy will be unconfined. What do you think motivates him? Because there is now some confusion about whether or not he's set to make a killing out of this and knows exactly what he's playing at, or whether actually he is guilty of Nadine Dorries levels of ignorance.
Well, so far, I've only been giving you evidence-based facts.
I know.
There's not been my opinion. This is black and white text.
Yes.
If you want my opinion on why people like Jacob Rees-Mogg,
yes,
who run investment funds developing businesses in third world countries and emerging countries around the world, those countries don't have trade deals with the EU,
no,
and therefore they're subject to very, very high tariffs. He thinks that these other countries will be able to sell to the UK, and he's offering them a market of 65 million people who can now buy this cheap tat and cheap products that are lower than the standards that we've got in the UK right now. Those companies will probably make a killing, and anybody who's invested in them will make a fortune.
So you're going for the sort of disaster capitalism theory, and you're very professional to stress that it's an opinion.
Yeah, it is only my opinion, but if I was investing in some country that can't import dangerous products into the UK, dangerous toys that we give to our kids at Christmas, if I can't sell those toys in the UK because we want to protect our children today... Because of our regulations. Because of our regulations.
And that would be one answer. Jason, I'm incredibly late for the break. I've only just noticed that. No, what do you mean, sorry?
Thank you for the time.
It's not like you came on the radio and started bossing me about, oh, hang on, you did.